morning, everyone. What a wonderful day to be here. Our morning entertainment had to run. They had an early morning practice, so I want to take a moment to thank them. That was Katerina Gojkovic and Agnes Kuchta, who performed with the violin this morning. They're part of our orchestra program here, and it's always a great way to start off with student talent. I'd like to welcome you to the Student of the Month celebration. My name is Kelly Dostal, and I'm the assistant principal for the class of 2024. It's my pleasure to be hosting this event, as indeed it is an honor for all these students to be recognized. Sometimes we feel like LT can be a big place, but when we get down to the granular level, all of the students here have been recognized individually by their teachers for the things that they think are so important. The students being honored here today will be presented by their nominating teachers, and the teachers will share why they've been nominated. Please understand some of our teachers might sneak out a little early. Some have North Campus classes, others have first period teaching assignments, so don't be surprised. It's not that they don't want to be here, but we know that they have other duties to get to. So our first presenter this morning, without any further delay, I'd like to welcome up from our Social Studies Department, Mr. Tom Swinetek. Mr. Swinetek.
Okay. Good morning. Yeah, this is a great honor. Oh,
Student. I neglected to do something. This is
I know.
me. When the teacher comes up, if we can have the nominee come up also so we have them on camera, because we have LTTV filming in the back, and you'll have a chance to see this program again as soon as they have it on the air.
Okay. All right, so, and you want to move a little bit closer so that you can be on the screen. Okay, so I did not expect to be here today. I am actually shocked that I'm here today because this is April, and I was certain that Elle would have been nominated and received this award already, maybe multiple times. And one of the things that as teachers we really emphasize, we try to nominate as many as the wonderful kids that are a part of our classes and clubs. And so, but I was floored, and I think I asked LT to double check that Elle hadn't been nominated already this year. And so, fortunately, I get to introduce Marielle St. Arnaud to the LT community for her involvement in congressional debate, which was amazing this year. I want to, as a parent who spent a lot of time coaching youth sports, my children's soccer and baseball, I wanted to use this analogy. Marielle is a student that dominates the debate chamber the way some kids dominate the soccer field or the baseball field. She's the one where the parents and coaches will ask to see their birth certificate because they don't believe that she is who she is. Okay, and so I just want to express that because it's really amazing to watch her. I'll give you. Let me start out by just kind of sharing that when the season starts and we meet in the South Campus library, we have had probably like 60, 70 freshmen, sophomores, all the way to seniors. So I didn't know all of them, right? And I teach at North Campus, so a lot of the freshmen, they all look the same to me, right? So I was hearing these great stories about all these wonderful freshmen and sophomores who are new to the team and how they were so well spoken and loved current events and confident. And I kept hearing these two names. There's this student named Elle. And then there's this other student named Marielle. And I'm like, this is great. I got these two freshmen who are phenomenal debaters. And then to my disappointment, I find out that Marielle and Elle are the same person. But actually, it just demonstrates how wonderful and how unique Elle is, especially as a freshman, to really stand out and impress the seniors on the team the way she does. So. But it was finally probably the first debate that she went to that I had a chance to listen to her speech, give a speech. And it was on a very exciting topic, if I remember right. I think it was on the corporate tax rate. And, so it was a thrilling topic. And somehow she took something that was really, even to me, very boring, and she used wit and humor, critical thinking, evidence, facts, argumentation, to make it something that was a joy to listen to. And that's a really wonderful thing, especially at a time of tweets and arguments and people who are yelling at each other, for a student to be able to explain to us and persuade. And I don't remember if you wanted the tax rate to go up or down. I don't remember. But it was just the fact that you were able to convince people using evidence and passion and logic. You know, Mr. Sweeney, is that ethos, logos, and pathos, right? Right, in Latin. So that was one of the amazing things. So I figured out that a freshman learned something that most adults haven't, and that's how to really explain themselves and how to use argumentation in a civil way, in a way that is both convincing but not intimidating. And so I think Elle is just a beauty at doing that. So I asked her how she was able to do this, and she said, well, she has an advantage. She has family members who are lawyers. And so she gave a lot of credit to, I believe her grandfather was a lawyer and her uncle's a lawyer. But she said that they convinced her of the importance of ideas and the importance of being able to convince people that ideas matter. And I think that's beautiful that she is so strongly convinced of that. So Elle this year went from being a freshman in a chamber of novice debaters of other freshmen and sophomores who had never done this before to making it to the Illinois IHSA state finals, a chamber of 16 total competitors at the state level. So it is amazing for that to happen, and I'll just explain how that might be. Well, first of all, Elle builds relationships with people wherever she goes. She listens to other people and wants to hear their side of the story. She's willing to try new things, like the time the team went to Chipotle and she had never had Chipotle before. And instead of explaining why she didn't want to eat Chipotle, she said, what sounds good? I'll have that. And she had this giant burrito on her plate and was happy with that, right? She's also not afraid of a fight. If she hears an argument that is weak or faulty, she'll question and challenge her opponent and demand to see their evidence. She wants to hear their evidence. And when given the chance, she will use her critical thinking and her reasoning and evidence and passion to convince us of her side of the story and her argument. I could go on and on about the advanced techniques that Elle has developed in debate, but I don't have to, because each coach in the state of Illinois said the same thing when learning that Elle was a freshman in a world of seniors. They said, you know what, I get it. She connects with people, she has passion and sincerity, and she's clearly well prepared and determined. And I said, this is true. And look out, because Elle has 3 more years representing LT at IHSA. Congratulations. It's an honor to be your coach. You're awesome, Elle. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Swintek. We certainly have a great debater on our squad here. Our next presenter this morning, I'd like to welcome up from our Family and Consumer Science Department, Ms. Kate Mitchell, who couldn't decide on just one, so had to talk about a couple. So come on up, Ms. Mitchell. You are not alone, we promise.
All right, well, as Mr. Swintek already mentioned, it's the end of the year. And how can you decide on one? All right. She wants you to come a little closer so you're in the picture. Okay. I know it's very, in a big room. All right. Hello, everyone. I wanted to, Jesse's not here, but I did also want to introduce you to Nikki and Bridget. And I wanted to talk about them. They are in one group in our advanced culinary arts class, so that's why, how do you separate a group? You know, that's been working together so closely. So kind of like a hand, all our fingers and part of the same team. So I wanted to acknowledge them all together. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you know, I of course brought some very high-tech visuals to share. You're lucky, get those reading glasses out if you need them. None of us do. I had the joy of working with Jessie, Nikki, and Bridget in Advanced Culinary Arts, and they've been working together as a group since January when our course starts. And they have just excelled, and they really just, as a group, have illustrated great planning, teamwork, and creativity. So our class started in January, and probably like a lot of teachers, kind of let everyone sit where they want to sit, and then you kind of sit back and observe. Observe the room, see how it works. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. The room has changed seats multiple times to help with those personalities, or maybe just that group dynamic. I've never changed their group. How could I change a group that works like a well-oiled machine? So they've been together since January. The combination has led to the group to be, to create quite a body of work in advanced culinary. They have won in class, we have challenges. They've won every challenge. So I almost feel like I'd be stacking the deck if I broke them up. So we have had things like cupcake wars. I gave them a challenge of random junk food, and they had to plate it and make it look professional, like you'd get it at a gourmet restaurant. And they've just kind of blown everyone out of the water with their creativity. As a group, they enter the room ready to work. They have a great attitude and a great work ethic. And I just want to thank them for being conscientious students. They have a knack for problem solving. They're the group in the room that you might not notice. And I think sometimes, you have a tendency to go where like the squeaky wheel or where it's loud. They're just there, they work, they do their thing. And so that creativity is just flowing. It's not a loud work. They're not having to be loud to let me know they're working. You just know and you can see it. So I wanted to thank them for their work in advanced culinary arts. And of course, working together and letting their creativity flow. I've never heard anyone say to each other, no, I don't like that idea. No, that's a bad idea. It's just they're silently over there kind of planning out their day. They do it, they excel, and then they move on to the next challenge, which is very rare, especially, at South Campus. On to the pictures, right? So I brought a couple things of at least the challenges they've won so far. Are you my easel?
I'll be your easel.
Thanks.
I'm a great easel.
All right. So I have one of the group here, and their Cupcake Wars display. Jessie, who's not here, everyone got the same stuff. So, and it's what they do with the stuff. Jessie, who's not here, brought that board home, painted it, because that's what everyone does. Brought that home, and then brought it back the next day. Everyone bring in things. This is a close-up. We're zooming in now. There you go.
Nice looking cupcakes.
Yeah. And then this is the one that I think is tough to explain. Was our junk food plating challenge. And they were given things like Twinkies, ketchup, mustard. And then the challenge was, okay, now make it look nice. Make it look like if I sat down at a restaurant and didn't know what it was, I'd be like, wow, that looks really cool. I want to try that. A Lunchable was in there. So you can see the challenge and the creativity, especially late in the day. So I just wanted to thank these ladies for being such great students and, of course, a great team, which is tough to be. So thanks, guys.
Congratulations. Our next presenter this morning, I'd like to welcome up from our Student Services Department, Ms. Gutierrez. Ms. Gutierrez.
Hello, I'm Daniela Gutierrez. I teach English, reading, and math, and I nominated Kyle Cornerschild along with Abby Chaplin, who couldn't be here, but she nominated him for life and work skills. Kyle is kind, he's polite, he's a friendly young man. I have him in my first period class, and he comes in every Monday morning at 7:30 in the morning and tells me that he is so happy to be here. no high school kids tell their teachers at 7:30 on a Monday morning that they are so happy to be here. And I say, why? And he goes, because I just love this school. And it's just such a wonderful thing to hear every Monday morning. In class, he participates often by raising his hand, and he loves to do any classroom leadership jobs that we have. He is an avid reader. He loves reading biographies and can tell you pretty much anything about any musician that's ever lived. He is great on his Chromebook. He's figured out how to use it and is teaching everyone else in the class all the tricks to how they work. And he does a great job using it to complete his writing assignments. He's taken several electives at North Campus this year, and he has thrived in some of the classes they have there, like LTTV, improv, and radio TV arts. He completes really interesting and creative, unique projects for those classes, and he truly just loves the school and learning anything and everything that he can. Mrs. Chaplin says in his life and work skills class, Kyle willingly accepts all jobs that are asked of him and is very eager to work at his job at WLTL. There he has been archiving past articles and does so carefully and diligently do that work. He comes to class every single day with a positive attitude and such an eagerness to participate in the class, and he has been a pleasure to have in my classes and in our program for the last 4 years. He's actually about to graduate. So it's for all of these reasons that we nominated him for Student of the Month, but really he's kind of student of the last 4 years. So great job, Kyle.
Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez, and thank you, Kyle. Our next presenter this morning from our health department, I'd like to welcome up Ms. Christine Vins. Ms. Vins.
Good morning, everybody. This is Adam Carcazes. Adam is a student who challenges his classmates and me as a teacher by asking those in-depth questions, which is always welcome in a class that is held directly after lunch. He asks questions that extend the material that we're discussing and tries to assess the reasoning, motivations, and why behind things. Adam also advocates for himself, which is not an easy skill, even for some adults. This combination of self-advocacy and asking those challenging questions pushes his classmates to engage with the material at a deeper level and pushes me as a teacher to help all of my students interact similarly with that content. This was especially evident in our nutrition unit as Adam aspires to attend culinary school. In my class, we always start the period with good news, kind words, or funny things. And even though it's not always shared at the beginning of the period, Adam's always good for a joke or a funny comment. His humor helps to carry our always full-length fifth period class. I've really enjoyed getting to know Adam this semester, and I know his humor, self-advocacy, and inquisitive mind will help to carry him far through life. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Adam.
Thank you. You don't have to keep the speech unless you want to frame it or something.
I'd like to welcome up our next presenter from our Applied Technology Department, Mr. Root. Mr. Root.
Good morning. First, I guess I'm excited to see, I think, 3 of my students in the room. So that's awesome. It's my honor to present Jason here with the Applied Technology Student of the Month. I've had Jason over the past 2 years here, and he's taken 4 of the aviation courses. I didn't know that that was possible. Most seniors can't fit that all in, so he's taken Aviation 1, Aviation 2, Principles of Aeronautical Science, and he's in our drones course. The Principles of Aeronautical Science course is a dual credit college course, so he's accumulated some college credit already as a sophomore. Next year, he's enrolled in our capstone course as a junior, which is our private pilot operations course. Right now, the class Jason's in, his drones course, he's preparing for the FAA Part 107 written exam, which will, upon passing that, will grant him his commercial drone operator's license so he can make some money, which is always exciting. Jason always performs above expectations he commutes over to North Campus the second or the last period of the day, and he's always the first person in the room on that bus. We'll see what happens today. Maybe Michael can outrun him. So it's exciting to see him come to class every day, eager to get going and to learn about aviation and aerospace. In addition to the coursework, Jason also is a very active member in the aviation club. He's there every Thursday after school, working on the simulators. He also did the Polar Plunge with us this year and helped us secure our 9th consecutive Cool School Award for being the school in the state that raised the most money for Special Olympics Illinois, which is exciting. And I see some more plungers in the room too. That's always awesome. So due to Jason's work ethic and drive, it's my pleasure to nominate him this award.
Does anyone else get the feeling that the next time you're on an airline in a few years from now, he's going to be the one in the pilot seat? I fully anticipate that to take place. Our next presenter I'd like to welcome up from our World Language Department, Mr. Sean Sweeney. Mr. Sweeney.
Hi, good morning. My name is Mr. Sweeney. I teach Latin here at Lyons Township, and I am similarly impressed to see a lot of Latin students in the room this morning. But I am very excited to honor Katie Prustalski as our Latin Student of the Month for South Campus. Latin is hard. You're translating a 2,000-year-old language that a lot of people would call dead every day into English. It's not an easy thing to do, and Katie is exceptional at that. She comes in every day. Her work is done. She always knows the answers to the questions, and she knows that the answers are right. But she does that in such a way that's never showy or ostentatious. It's more of like a quiet leader approach. She's in class every day ready to contribute. She works hard, and again, she does that in a way that is involving of her peers instead of setting herself apart in a negative way. So in doing that, she's a great role model for her peers. In addition to her work ethic, she has an intellectual curiosity that as a teacher I love to see. She has a positive sense of humor, and she just really does an excellent job of providing encouragement and feedback to her peers when we do group work that is, again, in this really challenging topic. The maturity that she has in doing all those things is not something that you always see in a sophomore, so it's really impressive to see that and really to have seen that over the past 2 years from Katie. So Katie, you are a valued part of our classroom community. Thank you for being a phenomenal student, and congratulations.
We're going to shake things up just a little bit here. If I could ask Adriana Dvorak to come up and join me. Oh, here we go. Good morning. Your teacher, Ms. Beamer, unfortunately let us know this morning she was not going to be able to be here, but she did send some wonderful words that she asked that I read about you. So these are her words, my voice. I am pleased to nominate Adriana Dvorak for Student of the Month. For the past several months, Adriana has given of her time during lunch study hall to tutor her peers in chemistry. Each day, Adriana can be seen sitting beside students, answering their questions, working through calculations, drawing particle pictures, going over responses to Canvas quizzes, building models, discussing evidence from lab experiments, and sharing her notes with students she hardly knows. Having known Adriana as more of a soft-spoken student, I was surprised that she would volunteer in this role. As we were talking about her decision, I learned that Adriana figured out that by helping her peers, she was imprinting chemistry concepts more permanently in her own mind. But why? Adriana had already earned good grades on her summative assessments. What was her motivation? As it turns out, Adriana decided she likes chemistry and wants to work towards a career that involves the use of chemistry. While she isn't sure if she'll work in a lab, pursue medicine, or become a paleontologist, well, that'd be interesting, Adriana loves how carrying out chemistry lab fuels her passion for science and engineering. Adriana has said that doing labs in chemistry lets her feel like she is part of something greater than herself. How amazing is that? Adriana has also seen how tutoring her peers has helped deepen her own understanding of chemistry by using a multidimensional approach to learning. Adriana said, and I quote, "I like seeing others approaching chemistry concepts from different perspectives that we might have learned in class, but it helps develop my own problem-solving skills." Of course, getting to know Adriana in this environment has been the greatest gift for me as her teacher. I love to see her socializing with her peers in ways that aren't necessarily apparent in a classroom setting. Adriana said that chemistry support is a friendly environment, a place where all of her problems melt away, and a peaceful retreat. I couldn't have said it better myself, Adriana. I'm so happy you have found a place to be yourself, explore your interests, and make new friends, and find your inner peace. Congratulations. See you in class and probably present it again as soon as she's back. Congratulations. Our next presenter I'd like to welcome up this morning is from our Business Education Department, Mr. Van Diepen. Mr. Van Diepen.
Good morning. My name is Matt Van Diepen, and this is Owen Cutler for Business Education through the month for April. Kind of like with what Dave Root was talking about earlier with Jason, it's kind of the same thing. What's really cool is that being in CT, career technology, we have students that we get to actually see what they're doing, and they're applying what they're learning, and it's actually towards a career area. And that's kind of like with PC repair, the class that I teach, that Owen's in. He's using that. With Jason, what you're doing with aeronautics, that's pretty cool. So one of the things that I really thought was great about with Owen this year is that Owen decided that he wanted to try and maybe work with the IT, Information Technology Department, this summer, and he was actually granted an internship to work with them for the summer. He's only a sophomore, so he's coming in with all this information that he already had, he brought in with him. He was kind of taught on his own with my class. He's going to be using that. And not only is he going to be able to use that, but as he continues on in his career, probably in this field of some sorts, he's learning more and more. And what I think is so cool about that is that this guy is going to be coming in, and he's going to have a leg up on most kids. Because as I go through the years of teaching, there's not a lot of kids that are doing what he's doing at this time. And I think that's really so cool, okay? You don't really see that so much. So I'm going to kind of read my spiel here. This is all truth, but just kind of wanted to throw that out there. So I have the extreme pleasure of having Owen Cutler in my PC repair and maintenance class. Owen's classwork is above average in my class. Owen, I need my glasses, seems motivated, confident, intelligent. Let's see it might work. It does. Very good. How do I look? I can't see you so well, but I can see this. That's what matters. He displays an outstanding attitude toward learning and most of the time prepared for class. He's good at problem solving and not afraid to get his hands dirty. He does not need to ask questions or ask for assistance when working on his labs. Sometimes we'll just kind of say, hey, here, fix this, and he'll, okay, give it to me, I'll do it. He's very serious about computer technology and seems to like it and work in the field, and he likes being challenged. He's a good worker, strives towards mastering the material presented in class. Owen works well with others and seems to enjoy working with computers. He's told me that he's interested in taking the CompTIA Plus test, which is a certified exam that's given to people throughout the entire world. For PC repair, it's kind of like an introductory type test, and it's also good for a resume and getting a job. He was even given a position this summer to work with the IT department, as I stated earlier. He's also been helpful and respectful towards myself and other students in the class, which is great. He really seems to know and understand technology more than most kids, and I always can count on him giving me the correct answer in class. I would say that he would be my go-to guy in class, so thank you for that. And it's not every day that I find a student who's as passionate about technology as I am, which is awesome. Makes my day easier and more fun. So thank you, congratulate for Student of the Month. I'm telling you, I can read it, but I can't see anybody out there.
Don't take my script.
Oh, that's yours.
That's mine.
This is yours.
Thank you. You'll notice we'll share and share like in the glasses department. We keep talking about needing an extra pair under the podium here, and somehow or another that's what seems to get left behind. Our next presenter this morning I'd like to welcome up is from our math department, Ms. Emily Clark, Ms. Clark, and she's going to be talking to us about Yanira.
Good morning. My name is Emily Clark. This is Yanira Flores. She goes by Yanni. Yanni is an absolute pleasure to have in my math class. She is always one of the first students to get to class and always greets me with a smile and says, "Good morning, Mrs. Clark," which I appreciate more than you know. Yanni is one of my most polite and respectful students and one of my hardest working students. She is always engaged in class, eager to learn, and willing to ask questions. She participates in whole group discussion when others don't want to. She works well with others and always asks questions to clarify her understanding. Yanni perseveres through difficult math problems and isn't afraid to make mistakes and make improvements on her learning. Yanni's positive attitude and dedication to her learning makes her an absolute joy to have in class. So congratulations, Yanni.
Thank you. Our next presenter this morning is Ms. Johnson. Unfortunately, her student was not able to join us today, but we do want to make sure that she has an opportunity to hear from Ms. Johnson the wonderful things that she wants to say about her.
Good morning. So my student of the month is Marissa Murray, who can't be here today. But if I were going to describe Marissa Murray in one word, it would be stealth. Marissa flies under the radar, consistently performing at high levels without ever drawing attention to herself. Because she's so consistent, it would be easy to expect her to excel or to overlook her accomplishments. I want her to know that I acknowledge and appreciate her efforts to be in class every day, ready to learn, and ready to put forth her best effort. Marissa is modest and kind and a role model for her peers. She is absolutely a bright spot in my day, and I feel very lucky to have her in my class. I thank her for her continued efforts toward excellence, and I congratulate her on this well-deserved recognition.
I look forward to meeting Marissa. Our next presenter I'd like to welcome up this morning is also from our English department, Mr. Pat O'Neill. Mr. O'Neill.
Keep short? I don't know how I feel about that. First, thank you for coming. And I also want to thank Mike's parents for coming twice this week. Their other son was Social Studies Student of the Year, so kind of doesn't seem all that exciting right now for you than to be Student of the Month for Language Arts, but that's okay. When I first met Mike, I was already impressed. He's a great kid. He works hard. He is smart. He is respectful. He's funny. I mean, these are the things that all of us in the room look for with a student. But what stood out is how he treats people, and he's empathetic. He looks for. Is this too? It's not short enough. It's fine. It's. He looks for people. He looks at for the best in people, and he brings out the best in people. He's not gonna. He'll disagree with people in class, but politely, and he'll try to figure out how they're coming from that angle. That's really mature, and that's really something that you don't see every day. And one of the things that I thought was just the coolest thing was that my son also plays water polo, and he was really freaking out because it was his first time ever going into the LT pool to play. And Mike told me, "Coach," he's like, "Give me your phone. Let me see what a picture of your son. I want to see who he is." And then he went and found Seamus, and he's like, "Hey, Seamus, you're part of our group now. You're one of us. Welcome. Come on in, man." And it took all the fear out of my son. And I thought that's something we need more of in the world. And Mike does that on a regular basis with people in class and in school. And I just think that's just amazing. So thank you very much, Mike, for being such a good man. And congratulations on your honor.
Our next presenter is from our Social Studies Department. I'd like to welcome up Ms. Lauren Rabbit. Ms. Rabbit.
So my student's not here either, like Ms. Johnson, so I will just talk. I had Vanessa Zhang. I teach her in world history, and Vanessa's just a wonderful student. She has done a great job academically, but her skills and her personality and what she brings into the classroom is really what's been a joy to watch over the past school year. She's always participating in class, asking clarifying questions when she doesn't understand something. She's always on task and completes all assignments. She listens to her classmates very respectfully and always helps her peers understand the material, especially if it's something that she hasn't mastered. She works well within groups and keep her partners on track, which isn't an easy feat, sometimes in a freshman class. Overall, she's been such a pleasure to have in class, and watching her grow as a student, both academically and personally, really has been a privilege, and I hope I get the chance to teach her again here at LT. Thank you.
I'm sure you will have no problem presenting that to her in class today. I don't know who comes next. All right, our next presenter from our art department, I'd like to welcome up Ms. Brittany Milovanovich, otherwise known to the students as Ms. Milo. Come on up.
I'd like to introduce Emily to everybody. She is in my digital photo art course, which is kind of a combination of digital art and digital photography, a little bit of graphic design sprinkled throughout. But she was an easy one to pick because all of her artwork is absolutely stunning. And she's very independent, and these programs are very difficult to learn, and she's always figuring it out on herself. She's constantly doing her photo shoots on time, and every time I see her work, I'm always thoroughly impressed by what she has to offer. So Emily has shown tremendous passion for digital photography and digital imaging this semester. She is talented, hardworking, and always has creative projects she is working on. She's very responsible, who thrives to always improve on her artwork and photo shoots, and it's always proven through her results, which we will be showing at our art show, which starts next Friday. If anybody wants to come and look, it's actually in this room. And I'm thoroughly impressed by the website site she created as well. The students all create their own portfolio on these Weebly websites, and it looks so professional already just by the body of work that she's produced. So in addition to the technical skills through Adobe software and the technical skills on her camera, I am thoroughly impressed by how much she has come this semester and can't wait to work with her in the future.
Our next presenter, also from our Student Services Department, I'd like to welcome up Ms. Nadia Malik. Her student was not able to join us, but I want to make sure that she has an opportunity to talk about Jesus.
Morning, everyone. Unfortunately, Jesus was not able to be here, but if I had to kind of summarize Jesus this year and give him a nickname, it would be the comeback kid. First semester, he was a student that I was very much watching. We were concerned just about academics and attendance and things like that. But he has just made incredible progress second semester, attending school regularly, but more than that, just nailing it academically, making connections, maintaining good grades. He is just so incredibly self-motivated, and he's one of the few students who've met his mid-semester goal in his academy class, which I nominated him for. So we're just incredibly proud of him and his progress, and just so happy to have him here. He's just such a gentle and kind soul, and so we're just excited that he's making so much great progress. Thank you.
And last and certainly not least, if I could have Josie Mensick come up and join me. Good morning, Josie. Josie was nominated by Mr. Hartley and Mr. Music, ironically of our music department. Mr. Music, it just kind of works, doesn't it? And I want to read some of the things that they had to say about you. Okay, Josie is an exemplary student who, as a sophomore, has proven herself to be an essential member of the LT Choir family over the past 2 years. She is a strong leader in her section, and her attention to detail is exceptional. Josie consistently demonstrates a strong work ethic, and she has high expectations for herself as she leads by example in both sophomore mixed choir and sophomore madrigal singers. She is an engaging choral performer, and she recently gave a riveting performance as a solo singer too, as her French language solo art song, Après ce rêve, am I close? Okay. By Gabrielle Faré, was selected for a semifinal round performance in our series of solo and ensemble festival events. Josie's dedication to her craft is clear, even beyond the classroom, as she also sings with Spirito Singers, another excellent choral organization in the area. And perhaps even more valuable to the LT Choir family than Josie's refined musicianship and singing voice are her kindness and positivity, which are an inspiration to everyone in the class. We look forward to Josie's continued growth and leadership in LT choirs at North Campus next year and beyond. Congratulations, Josie. Mr. Music or Mr. Hartley will present your certificate in class. I'm sure it will be a choir moment if I know them. All right. That's going to conclude our Student of the Month ceremony this morning, but before we leave, I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank Ms. Candy Fay in the back with LTTV. In the not-too-distant future, you will be able to see this on their site. I would also like to thank my assistant, Ms. Vicki Parody. She really does all the planning, and I couldn't do this without her. For our students here, congratulations. You've set yourself apart. Among the 2,000 students here, at South Campus, I've heard words from your teachers such as hard work.
Good morning, LT. At this time, please join me in observing a moment of silence. Thank you. And now please stand for saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome to school. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, LT, and have a great day.
All right, thank you. Sorry for the interruptions. But I heard teachers use words today that really kind of resonated with me. I heard words such as hard work, commitment, positivity, integrity, leadership. Those are the things that aren't always measured on a report card, and it is so critical that we recognize those skills in our students here today. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank and congratulate the parents who are here. Without your continued support, commitment, and guidance, we wouldn't have such fine LT citizens to recognize. Thank you again for coming. Students, you're probably going to need a pass to first hour, so feel free to stop by A106. But before we go, we must get a picture. So if you would step up in front of the wall here, if I can have all of the award winners come on up, we'll get a nice photo of you. And moms and dads, it's a Kodak moment. We're old enough to know what Kodak is. The kids have no clue.